this morning with Atlantic Lithium's chairman, Neil Herbert. Neil, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good to speak, Neil. Look, you've had this DFS update out and provided some detail around the staged project development. Tell us a bit more what's planned here.
So as it stands today, we completed the PFS the third quarter of last year, and we're looking to complete the DFS the end of next quarter. So next quarter is a very important quarter for us. What we were doing here is optimizing the project, seeing how we can bring forward more production over the course of the mine, which we're planning to bring to production within the next 2 years, but also looking at the opportunity for early revenues, which could include the sale of direct shipping ore next year, or indeed some modular production. So all of those things start to add up, and indeed looking at how we can recover more metal than we anticipated in the PFS study. So overall, we're looking at improved economics by the end of next quarter.
And tell us a bit more about the significance here of these DMS units.
So the DMS units would allow us to work on a modular basis. So very much the intention here would be bringing forward production sooner rather than later, and indeed potentially looking at higher production scenarios than we looked at the PFS. So all of that amounts for considerably more processing of material, and therefore more product and ultimately more revenue for the company.
And you've identified quite an attractive local market for feldspar here.
Yes, very much so. So actually, this is an area which the government's very keen to see development of, which is ceramics in country. So feldspar feeds into the ceramics industry, and they're looking to build up their ceramics industry. So we're very happy to be cooperating with them on that.
And I see you've kicked off your 2023 exploration and resource drilling programs. Tell us a bit about what's planned here.
So we have a very large license area, and we've really only touched a corner of it, which is maybe 2% of the license area. So what we're actually looking now is to push out from that area and work along the immediate areas close to the mine and indeed beyond that. So we're looking at 20,000 meters of auger drilling. So we're kicking off with 4 auger drills, but then also RC drilling and indeed diamond drilling, which will add to our existing resource over the course of the coming year. And what we also anticipate is some benefit from a new technique, which is passive seismic, which we've seen very effectively used in Australia. And this is the opportunity to identify pegmatites that don't have a surface expression. So there are a standard technique at the moment is actually to identify pegmatite at surface and then work on that area. In this case, we'll actually be able to identify pegmatites which are potentially covered, and therefore we have no sight of them.
And of course, you just recently updated your resource here.
Yeah, so we've actually continued to increase the resource. At the beginning of last year, we were 20 million tons. We then moved to 30 million tons, and then more recently moved to 35 million tons. And more importantly, 4/5 of that now in the higher categories. So the project is continuing to deliver. We think the longer term potential for growth of it is very significant.
So some of those big near-term milestones, you've got the DFS, plus also, is it an updated scoping study you're looking to put out?
The scoping study, we're looking at some alternatives, as it were, within the mine plan. But the key event here will be the DFS at the end of next quarter, the definitive feasibility study, which optimizes the project and gives us the roadmap to take it to production. Also, next quarter, we should have approval for the mining license by the ministry. So we're very much looking forward to having that approval and completing the further licensing steps we have to make by the end of the year.
And I see both yourself and your chief executive have recently bought shares on market.
I have, the chief executive has, and the CFO has, all in the last week. I think it adds up to about $1.7, $1.8 million in total. So there was some weakness in the price. Obviously, markets have been soft. We were also subject to a short seller attack about 2 weeks ago. So also the prices were low because of that. And all of us saw the opportunity effectively to buy in at a low price. So we all took advantage of the opportunity and filled up.
Well, tell us more. What do you see as the upside potential here for Atlantic Lithium and your current share price?
So brokers' notes have prices around 3 times, in terms of targets where we sit today. So obviously that would be very significant. Canaccord is one of the brokers that covers us. And as you'll see, we go through the next couple of months, the DFS and the approval of the mining license by the ministry, probably events which are the most important in the company's history. So do expect to see a revaluation here.
Good to see you, Neil. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.